Hey guys, AsePlayer here, and welcome back to another Stick War 3 video. We got caught in 4K, we got the War God, we got Brad Sanford, and we got two sets of Blazing Bolts. 1 Voltic Spark, and a hint of enemy units will respawn as dead if they die poison. Deads have 20% more health. Anyway, how are you guys doing? I'm doing pretty good. New update just dropped. It means miners get hats now, I guess. But either way, let's take a look at what these guys got going on. One's going from miners, and one's going for miners. That's crazy. But also, the War God went double mana crystal, and he's got a toxic dead on the way. Oh my god, that's crazy. And Brad Sanford, he's interested in that middle tower, but not interested in having a second unit in the game. He's instead opted to just have an Eclipser and absolutely nothing else, because that's kind of the playstyle that's promoted right now in the beta. 2 spells, 2 upgrades, 2 enchantments, and a unit. Anyway, he's going triple mana quad. Bro, you're like running out of gold because of all the mana you got. But you already know what he's going for. It's Eclipsers. You need the mana for the Eclipsers, and it's upgrades. You need the mana for the upgrades. This guy's got more mana spending than gold spending going on. And it's kind of gonna be okay for him, probably. The War God, he's got a bit of a more traditional Toxic Dead Merrick combo, and they're just going to use the projectile barrier that the Merrick gets. But instead, Brad Sanford's actually just going to keep attacking, and he's going to have to run away because the War God casted the Get Away From Me for 15 seconds spell, so he simply must get away for 15 seconds. But now that that's over, he can keep on pushing on, and luckily they didn't have more severe repercussions for him. The War God, he's just going to be making more toxic deads. You know, it's all about surviving first and foremost. If you can do that and build up, then you might be more successful than your opponent who's just spamming 1 unit. But it's going to be close because you're only spamming 2. So I can't give you too much credit. But anyway, I don't know. Is it even Stick War anymore? It just kind of feels like Spell and Upgrade War. But anyway, here comes the Toxic Dead Ghost spawn. They're going to start mildly annoying the War God. I don't think they're going to actually ever get there. So it's not a direct issue, but it's an issue in that Brad Sanford gets to, you know, sneak peek at what's going on in there, and he doesn't have to do anything. So it's just becoming a big problem for the War God. He's simply got to get those Merricks out, because if you get the Merricks and you control the Merricks and you cycle them around, you can create like an infinite projectile barrier if you're careful and your AI doesn't just blow their shields because they feel like it. But he has like an unholy amount of mana crystal, but make no mistake, that can all be spent in an instant for like a ton of benefits. So the more the merrier when it comes to that, and spells, I suppose. But the War God, he's got Acid Rain to match Brad Sanford's Toxic Totality, basically amounting to nothing. It's a nothing spell that'll actually only hurt him if he tries to use it. But he does have Merricks to cure, so it's not too big of a deal. Brad Sanford doing the thing where you kind of need to back away for 15 seconds. But they were recently... the spell was nerfed. Now you're still moving. But here comes another Snow Squall. And, you know, that was just kind of a whole lot of nothing. But that's okay. That's just what the War God needed. Sorry for the lag, by the way. College Wi-Fi is a drag. Anyway, there's no late game for these guys. Their late game is their early game, which is exactly the same stuff. So it's going to be a very close, intense battle of wit, I'm sure. They're both pushing the same button very hard. But the War God, those Merrick bubbles, it's going to be the bane of Brad Sanford's existence. He has projectile barrier, but the War God has like infinite projectile barriers. So it's going to be tough, absolutely. There is the projectile barrier, the man of the hour. It's causing a little bit of harm, but not too much. Brad Sanford actually lost a unit. I don't know how I expected that to work, but I didn't expect you to be able to shoot from the middle of the projectile barrier and still kill someone. But I guess that's how that goes down. So good for the War God. He picked up a snipe kill, and he's being chased down. but only until his projectile barrier comes back. Then he's chilling again. Didn't come back soon enough, though. In fact, he actually lost the Merrick, and he made a mass garrison mistake because he's a little nervous. I don't blame the guy. Situations are tough. That toxic totality is now researched, so don't even think about using that acid rain. Not that he's even tried to use it. It hasn't been much of an opportunity. I guess if I knew my opponent was at the middle tower, I'd be spamming it all the time, but that would actually not be the play here, so I guess ignorance is bliss a little bit. Here comes the dead walking in, and here comes the two spells invalidating each other, so both opponents just have to back away. Here comes another spell, except he whiffed it, and due to that, the War God can actually play the game a little bit. If Brad Sanford actually hit that like he needed to, it would be pretty problematic for him. And here comes the acid rain that doesn't really do a whole lot. Actually, it does. I thought it would keep chaos units from being poisoned. That's my mistake. It must only apply to undead units. Looks like that acid rain's pretty useful, actually, and you should be using it a lot more. Sorry for feeding the disinformation. I guess I didn't know how it worked. Here comes the dead spawning from the poison kill, and this is the type of stuff you like to see, because Eclipsers are going to get distracted and start shooting those guys instead of shooting your actual guys who were shooting his guys. So all around, just great stuff for the War God. And he's managed to come back quite handsomely, I must say. He's double the population, and Brad Sanford, it just kind of seems like he's coping. Here comes the Snow Squall of the Century, getting a lot of value for the War God, and basically Brad Sanford was trapped into it. He was just going to take a bunch of damage. And now, Brad Sanford trying to do the same thing to the War God. But unfortunately, he was a little bit behind on the placement. He's still going to pick up 2 kills, though. 3 kills. Damn. The War God cast the bubble when it mattered quite literally the least. But that's okay. A for effort, I suppose. And Brad Sanford's come back a little bit. The War God got way too invested in attacking forward. And then he pressed the defend button, so then the Merrics never came to assist him. Definitely not how that needed to be played. You needed to be sending those Merrics forward, even despite the garrisoning, to help you garrison a little more. But, you know, when there's a whole bunch of spells being cast on the battlefield, you can become distracted and worried, and maybe make a mistake or two, so that's fine. Not going to hold that against him too much. Here comes another Snow Squall, forcing Brad Sanford to back up. And, he's trying to feel the situation out. I think he thinks he can take him. But here comes the projectile barrier, the personal one, of course. And here comes the Snow Squall of the Century, just absolutely limiting the Toxic Deads from doing a whole lot. And here comes the projectile barrier, absolutely limiting Brad Sanford from doing a whole lot. You can see there's just a whole lot of nothing going on. And that's by design, I guess. When you have a bunch of strong things that kind of cancel each other out, you just get a whole lot of nothing. And the War God, he's getting, you know, I won't pretend like I don't do it too, but he's definitely getting too attached to that Merrick bubble, and he's just controlling the Merrick and not even dealing with the main problem, which is that his units are also dying from not being healed because he's holding the Merrick. Here comes the projectile barrier of the Century, basically forcing the War God to retreat in his own base or face the consequences. And he's still gonna face the consequences from retreating. Like, look at that value. 1 whole miner. That's crazy. But the War God, he's just kind of making more Toxic Deads. I think he doesn't realize that the Merrics are really his, like, tipping point. You know, that's gonna tip the scales, and Brad Sanford has nothing to do anything into that Merrick or Merrics, and yet he doesn't make as many Merrics as he could be. Not quite sure why he has decided to diss the Merrics so, but that's fine. That just gives Brad Sanford an opening, though. Here comes another Snow Squall, just kind of an FU spell, forcing you to kind of be stuck there. Here comes another Snow Squall, kind of forcing you to walk through it slowly and walk back into it slowly. That you did that yourself, though. And here comes another acid rain, raining down upon the Eclipsers, causing a whole bunch of poison damage. I don't know if it's going to amount to much, though, because as long as Brad Sanford can fly away quickly, he can just choose when to engage as he pleases. and just kind of bob in and out as the spells come off a cooldown. But no one's spells are off cooldown right now. This is actually some like stick-on-stick action. And the Toxic Deads, they are proving to be quite damaging to Brad Sanford. But the other thing that's proving to be quite damaging to Brad Sanford is like his lack of diversity in units. He definitely would have a major advantage if he had something like Giants backing up his Wingedons, because at this point, you know, I'm not going to say the Blazing Bolts are not really that much of a contributing factor, but it's certainly not your win condition. Your win condition is spamming the same unit and using the poison. So I don't really see why you have such importance on the burn, but not on assisting your already existing units. It's a little easy to get lost in the sauce sometimes, but it's going to make you pay big time. Look at how much work the Blazing Bolts is doing when you can just bubble. Just like that, Brad Sanford's actually gonna take a huge L. I thought he was chilling, but not so. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.